Well, we have guests joining us right now in Lagos. We have Dr. Raji Quadri. He's a public health physician. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
And joining us from Abuja Studios is Professor Titus Ibekwe. He's an ENT surgeon, also a public health physician. Welcome to the COVID-19 update.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Let's begin with you, Professor Ibekwe, and that is your point of view as we witness or we hope to see a review in the lockdown ease from the federal government today. What do you anticipate might be the decisions or the measures that will be taken from today?
Yeah, you know, this type of decision is something that should be evidence-based. It shouldn't be anecdotal in any way. And that is purely the responsibility of NCDC and the task force teams and indeed the specialist group that they have put together who have been monitoring the progress and situations of things in the country. But we are all also key players in this development. It is very obvious that with the very first week of relaxing the lockdown was, I would say, catastrophic. We realized that a lot of people were out there in the street. Unfortunately, the various organizations that were supposed to make sure that those rules and basic rules and regulations were obeyed did not actually stick to the rules of the game. The banks, for instance, within that first week, most of the branches were locked up, and this led to a lot of crowding within the areas of the few branches that were open. And you see people pushing and pulling and definitely breaking those rules and regulations. And a lot of damages could have been done even with that singular action. It didn't stop at that. Even modes of transportation, we thought that the National Union of the Road Transport Workers, that they have already finalized, an agreement, have written an agreement with the task force team on how to be able to handle the situation. But unfortunately, we still witnessed a lot of crowding within the vehicles, some carrying up to 4 people in a taxi. And
do you expect that there will be a status quo would remain, or that there should be a total lockdown, or things should go on as they are?
Yeah, really, the second week, because I was just building up, the second week actually was a lot better than what we witnessed within the first week. And the reality is that lockdown is not an end on its own, is a means to an end. So what is very important at this point in time is ensuring that our testing capacity is increased even more than what it is now. Some improvements have been made, and that we have to deploy other measures, that will assist even the PCR method that is being used now, since NCDC have discovered that the gene experts and even the machines earlier on used for, the testing for HIV in the country.
One moment, Professor. Let's quickly bring in our Lagos guests. One moment, Professor, with all due respect. Dr. Quadri,
yes.
Taking from where he has stopped, looking at what Lagos is doing and the guidelines, are you optimistic at some of the measures to containing COVID-19?
Well, to start with, the Lagos State government has expanded the testing capacity, and that has yielded results with increased positive results that we see every day. That's one step in a positive direction. The easing down of this lockdown, how has it impacted on the results? How compliant are our people? On my way down to this place, you can see how crowded our bus stops are. The buses are crowded to the brim. I'm scared in the next 2-3 weeks, if we really test to the capacity, what the outcome is going to be. Sincerely, I must be sincere with you. The disregard to professional advice that we've been given, people are not complying. People are not wearing face masks. You see people holding hands. You see bank banking compound being crowded. You see bus stops being crowded.
So what would you say we need to do now?
Number one, let's maintain the tempo of the testing capacity. Number two, continue social orientation. This public enlightenment must continue. The social media influencers must up their games. Then let's continue to tell our people being tested positive is not an end of the world. I work in a sampling collection center. People come around to give us fake address, fake phone numbers, that when they eventually come out positive and you're trying to trace them, they are nowhere to be found.
Right. Finally, to you, Professor Adewole, if I may, what do you see happening in the next few days, or what would you want to happen following ways to contain the virus spread?
Yeah, what is very important here is the testing capacity has to be increased, expanded, and the reconfiguring going on with these machines to ensure that there are, this is realized has to be expedited by NCDC. And again, public enlightenment program, has to be scaled up. And not just on television and radio, it has to be taken down to permeate into the fabrics, of our hinterlands in languages and the way that they will understand, so that people will know that this is really, really real. I think a lot of enlightenment program in the education is still needed because a lot of people are still in denial as we are speaking. Even people who should know better, some educated people are still in denial. So that means we need to do a lot of work. If we have to, reinvent full lockdown, I tell you that that's not the solution, except if the other aspect, the other wings that will help this to succeed are really, really put in place, i.e. testing, and secondly, enlightenment, and thirdly, people need succor that will help them into complying to any of these rules and regulations that are
We appreciate your time. When we look at all the things that have happened, the first week after the ease of lockdown and the number of cases that we had, and then looking at the second week after the lockdown relaxation, I guess it would give the federal government and states a lot more to think about as they try to safeguard Nigerians. We'd like to thank you, and we know you will be joining us a little later for more on ways that we can curb this spread. Professor Titus Ibekwe, ENT surgeon, thank you so much for joining us from Abuja studio, and also Dr. Raji Kodri, a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you for having me.